Welcome back to the Discussions with David. I'm so glad you come to join us once again. Today I'd like to talk about something very difficult and very challenging. One of the things that is really plaguing our world right now is how to best respond to and really figure out what are the words to really encourage people during times of suffering. At this exact moment in Rwanda, there's over 9,000 churches which have been closed due to processes and procedures from the Rwandese government. You have pastors and leaders in India who are currently imprisoned and are suffering many different persecutions. You have ongoing wars in DR Congo, in Ukraine, as well as droughts in places like Malawi. What do you say about those things? How do you respond to the horrors, the destitute, the frustrations, and just the pain and agony that people face during these times of struggle? Now, the world doesn't have answers for that, and the answers they give are just ones which are short-lived at best and cause many harm. Many of our partners all throughout the world have kind of shared about even an ongoing crisis of even mental health, as well as increased uses of drugs and alcohol to try to find ways and solutions to help kind of suppress and push down that pain. But what do we do? What is our response? What was Jesus' response? Those are really important questions, and that's something that in our teaching and curriculum is something that we try to give people words, thoughts, and ideas and responses to that core question of how to really ask the question, is God fair? And so in the link below, you'll see some of the material for our resources, and in that you'll find actually a presentation on Is God Fair? And while there's many details in that, one of the really important pieces in there is really looking at what did Christ do? What was God's response to the suffering of humanity and of the people all throughout the world and all throughout time? And really his answer is this: that he came right down in the midst of it. He was present in the pain and suffering, endured the horrors of loneliness, of brokenness, of pain, of many different things that all of us experience. And not that he wouldn't know that as God, but so that we would know that he understands the difficulties that we face. So for us, really, what's our response to that? What do? We saw what Christ has done for us. And as we would kind of go through those presentations, we're able to see a little further, what was the background and theology of those pieces. But what do? Really as followers of Christ, as apprentices of the Most High King, one of the key things that we do is follow in the footsteps of our King. So we do as he did. So as we were experiencing people that are hearing about people that are having different struggles, trials, and really just horrific things that can happen all throughout this world, our call is to go down in the midst of it as well. Now for some of that, it's actually going physically to those places. Other times it's through prayer, through fasting, through support, of those that are enduring these very difficult situations. Those are many different ways that we do that. But for each of us, it manifests itself in different ways. And one of the really encouraging things I saw this week, I saw many different examples of incredible things that people are doing. But one was really hearing the story of one of our partners in Kenya. There's a young man named Jared, and he's a person that received scholarships from Sustainable Med for the last couple years. And for him, he was awarded one for this year. But for this year, shortly into that time, he actually was provided in abundance. God said that he was going to use other resources and means to help provide for all the different things he would need for his for schooling and for a scholarship for this year. He kind of notified us and said, hey, I want to tell you, about this opportunity. I want to pass that blessing on to someone else. Now, that's something which is very strange. Now, for us, we would have no idea, really, whether or not that would be able to happen or not. There's ways, of course, of manipulating pieces. But for him, he said, all right, God had provided me in abundance. And out of that abundance, I'm going to share that with others. And so by him being obedient to that, he was able to bless another person in Kenya. Her name was Vivian. And Vivian desperately needed a scholarship, and she was one that we regrettably weren't able to offer at first, but because of Jared's generosity, because he identified the challenges and knew the struggles that he had as a student and said, I want to go and bless someone else. Out of my abundance, out of the excess that God has given me, I want to help and bless others. And so out of that, he was able to bless Vivian, who was able to go to school and rejoice in those situations. And so that's really what God's asking us to do in those moments, is to do the things which are peculiar, to go above and beyond the typical, to do the things, to enter into those moments, to be present in the midst of suffering and challenges. Thank you very much, and hope to see you again soon.